for joining us. This week we're going to be in the book of Haggai. Probably the next few weeks we're going to be in the book of Haggai. And it says this: in the second year of King Darius, in the 6 months, on the first day of the month, the word of the Lord came by Haggai the prophet to Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest, saying, Thus speaks the Lord of hosts, saying, the people says, the time has not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built. Then the word of the Lord came by Haggai the prophet, saying, Is it time for you yourselves to dwell in paneled houses, and this temple to be in ruins? I'm going to start there. So, during this time, people were living in nice houses. They had ceilings and this paneled houses, and some call it sealed houses, fortified houses that looked in, good houses. And what's the difference? They had not taken any time to focus on the Lord's house. Hadn't spent any time focusing on the Lord's house. On one of the other translations it says, you live in sealed houses while my house is a tent. We're going to talk about that this week. We're going to talk about God's house and what we should be doing and what we could be doing and how God can move when we honor his house, and how God can bring not just power and blessing to us, but how he can use it to minister to the wounded, the weak, the weary, and so that his message can go forth to a community in need to hear what he wants to say. So we're going to start talking about what does it take to build the Lord's house? What does it take to build the Lord's house? And we're going to start by looking at where we are in the Lord's house and what we need to do. So, before tomorrow, think about your places of worship. Think about it. It may look a certain way, but if God were to say, if God were to come and see our places of worship, is it a place where he wants to dwell? Or is it just a place we've assigned him? Let's look at it. Let's look at the construction. Let's look at how the spiritual construction of God's house. Not to be concerned about the physical structure, but the spiritual structure of God's house. Because now, we don't want God's house to be in ruin. We don't want God to be dwelling in a tent. We don't want God to be dwelling in a place where we have assigned him no place in his own house. But we want to make sure that we are doing what he called us to do, building him a house. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.